You are watching Access LaPorte County, Channel 97. Coming up next is the August 16th, 2022 meeting of the LaPorte County Board of Zoning Appeals. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
6:05 is again.
Good evening. I'd like to call to order the August 16th meeting of the LaPorte County Board of Zoning Appeals. If you would stand for the pledge. Glenn, would you lead us?
Absolutely. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Thank you. Could I get a roll call, please?
Melissa Mullins-Mishke.
Here.
Dwayne Hogan.
Here.
Glenn Minnick.
Here.
Adam Karanka.
Here.
April Daly.
Here. I will entertain a motion for the approval of the July 19th meeting minutes.
I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve the minutes as written and distributed.
A second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Okay, let's get right into the petitions this evening. Petition number 1 is a petition for special exception for Open Roads Renewables LLC and Monroe Power LLC, represented by Counsel Anthony Novak of Newby Lewis, Kaminsky and Jones LLP.
Notice adequate. Thank you. First, I'd like to go ahead and make a motion to take the off the table, put it back on the table for boards inquiries only, to hear what Anthony has to say.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Sorry, I'm supposed to Tony.
All right.
Okay.
All right, buddy, you're up.
Anthony Novak. I'm an attorney with Newby Lewis, Kaminsky and Jones here in LaPorte across the street. Here tonight on behalf of applicants Open Road Renewables LLC and Monroe Power LLC. Here in the flesh tonight, as is the president of those entities, Cyrus Tashikori. Again, we're here on our petition for an application for special exception for a utility substation to put in what's called a battery energy storage system, which I'll just refer to as a BESS facility. One matter of housekeeping. On Friday, August 12th, Monroe Power actually purchased the property. So there's no longer an owner that's consenting. We now officially own the property. We were last in front of you on May 17th. At that time, I would summarize or paraphrase 2 main concerns. One from Representative Pressel: what may happen if the state of Indiana in 2023's legislative session after the BZA approves this, but before we apply for a building permit, what if they pass legislation in that time frame? And then number 2, I'm paraphrasing from Doug, but how will the county ultimately be able to ensure that this facility is built and subsequently maintained to the appropriate state or national standard? That's what I would summarize the 2 main issues. So although this hasn't been in front of you for 3 months, we've been working just about every day over the last 3 months to address these key stakeholders and these concerns, and we believe we've satisfied all of these concerns. And we've done so by presenting 5 additional conditions to this approval, in addition to the 5 that we already presented on May 17th, for a total of 10 conditions that we would self-impose as a condition to receive a permit from the county building department to move forward. So those 5 additional conditions, which are listed as conditions 6 through 10 in the informational packet that we submitted to the county, it's been online for weeks now for the public to view, are as follows. Number 6, that will be subject to any changes in Indiana legislation or regulation governing BESS facilities through December 1st of 2023. So the end of next year to get passed through the end of the next legislative session. Number 2, so that we can effectuate that, number 7, that we will not apply for a building permit until the earlier of January 1st, 2024, or when the Indiana legislature passes legislation or regulations addressing BESS facilities. Number 8, that the design and the subsequent installation of this facility is going to comply with the most current version of NFPA, which stands for National Fire Protection Association 855, which is the standard for the installation of stationary energy systems, standard 855, which we've said govern these facilities, that the most current version of Standard 855 will govern the issuance of this permit, but if at the time the permit is issued, the state of Indiana has adopted something similar or legislation or other codes that apply at the time of issuance, we will comply with that. And with that, we have supplied a paper version and electronic version of NFPA 855 to the county at our cost. And speaking of things to our cost, number 9, at the time we apply for the permit, we'll provide the building department of up to $30,000 for them to hire their own independent consultant or expert, if they desire, to review our compliance with NFPA 855, Indiana legislation or regulation governing best facilities, or any other regulations that legally apply to best facilities. That will be at the time that we apply for the permit so that they can actually do their due diligence. And then finally, number 10, how would they be able to figure out this complies thereafter? We'll provide the building department funding of up to $10,000 annually throughout the life of the project for them to hire their own independent consultant to make sure that each year the facility complies with NFPA 855 or the Indiana legislation that was adopted at the time we applied for the permit. So with that, we respectfully would request that you would approve our request with the 10 conditions as presented. So we're certainly here to answer any questions.
Thank you, Anthony.
I have one comment. If the board chooses to approve, and I'm not suggesting either way, you're planning on applying for the building permit July 2024.
We would not apply until at least January 1st,
Okay.
2024.
So that should include an extension on the approval until that date, because typically building permits are for a year. Okay.
Okay, and I do want to just mention that we have received a letter from LaPorte County Hazmat that is favorable for this project as well.
Have it right here. I have no further questions.
I don't
I
either.
think they've answered everything.
So too, and I think you guys have gone above and beyond
Thank you.
what we
Very
initially
fair
asked
job.
for too.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll go ahead and make it then, Madam President. The petition, as stated, be approved with the exception that we will wait for our consultant's report to make sure it's favorable or unfavorable. We'll go by his recommendation to pass it.
Oh, do you mean on 9 and 10 for the
Yes.
30,000?
Yes.
So I think our motion just needs to include that we approve the
Yeah,
project.
Through the project with all 10 of the conditions as stated, yes.
There you go.
And if you choose to extend,
Yeah,
Extend the,
we have to extend the project to the time for him to apply for the permit.
is that clear for everybody? This is just for board inquiry. This is not for remonstrance. Thank you. So if
I'll second.
okay, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Petition number 2 this evening is a petition for variance of developmental standard for Keith W. Blower for temporary placement of an RV to live in during construction of his primary home.
Hang on a second.
I haven't been able to get hold of him for a month. I've been trying.
Okay.
Petition number 2, are you here with us?
Trying to get a hold of him for a month.
Request a table.
Let's go ahead and move him to the
I
bottom.
don't think the audience could hear you. There were
That's right. Petition number 2 this evening
Are they here?
is a variance of developmental standards for Keith W. Blower for temporary placement of an RV to live in during construction of the primary home. If he's not here, we can move him down to the bottom. Check him out at the end of the meeting.
Very good.
Okay, petition number 3 is a petition for variance of developmental standards for Wayne A. Brewer for continued placement of a mobile home for an elderly. The property is located at 7598 North, 500 East, Rolling Prairie, Indiana, Galena Township, zoned ag on 2 acres. Petition number 3. Do you have legal work for our attorney?
I need proof of notice. Notice is adequate.
Great. If you would state your name and address for the record.
Wayne Allen Brewer, 7598 North, 500 East, Rolling Prairie, Indiana.
Wayne, who's going to live in the mobile home?
My mother.
Okay. How long has she been there?
30, well, let's see, I'm 49, about 39 years.
Is your mom there since you guys help her with health concerns? You take care of her?
Health-wise, she's for her age, she's 88, she's doing well, except she's got a touch of dementia. She doesn't drive, so we take her shopping, we take her anywhere she needs to go. But she's still able to do all of her own cooking and things like that. It's just her short-term memory is starting to slowly dwindle away.
How old is the mobile home that's there? Do you remember what year it is?
I think it's around a 2000.
Okay. Do we have any remonstrators tonight for this petition? Anybody for or against petition number 3?
Nope.
Okay, hearing, seeing none.
Motion.
Are there any questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Everything looks neat and clean, and we're always happy when someone's taking care of a parent.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion that the petition for variance of developmental standards for Wayne A. Brewer for continued placement of the mobile home for an elderly parent be granted for 3 years. The property is located at 7598 North, 500 East Rolling Prairie.
Glenn, is that 3 years renewable?
Yes.
Okay.
Then I'll go ahead and second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Good luck. Petition number 4 this evening is a petition for variance of developmental standards for Andre Protz for construction of a pole barn with living space before the primary home and to live in during construction of the home, and then to keep the guest quarters in the pole barn for personal use after the home is built. Property is located at 8925 West, 800 South Westville, Clinton Township, zoned ag on some acreage.
Notice adequate.
Thank you. Would you state your name and address for the record, please?
My name Andrei Prats, address 8925 West, 800 South, Westville, Indiana.
Okay. How long do you think construction's going to take for the home?
For the home? 2 years.
Okay. Thank you.
Madam President, if I may.
Please. Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at the site layout for the construction. I see the house and the plan for the septic tank and drain field. I don't see anything for the pole barn itself.
The septic?
Yes.
The septic, when they make a plans for the house, the architect planned it for the house only, but I don't have, by that time, doesn't have the plans for the pole barn. So I don't know if it needs to be bigger or extended. We can go back and change that septic to the. It needs to be second or it needs to be bigger. I don't know yet.
And that would come from the health department most likely.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what they say.
I just don't know yet what needed what you guys require. If you need something to change, I will change it to bigger or to double if it has to be. Yeah.
Okay.
You plan on keeping the pole barn then after the house is built? You're gonna,
For sure.
and to just, not to rent or anything, but.
Oh, no. I mean, just for the guests if needed ever. Otherwise, gym or something, you know.
Okay.
Yeah. No, not for rent. Definitely not for.
Yeah, I just want to make sure we're clear that there's no renting of it
Oh.
if we choose to approve.
Never.
Absolutely no renting. Okay.
Never, no.
Are there any remonstrators tonight for petition number 4? Anybody here for or against petition number 4? Hearing and seeing none, I will entertain a motion.
Madam President, I'd like to provide a motion for the petition for variance of developmental standards for Andrew Protz to be granted.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed, same sign. Aye. Good luck. Your motion passed.
Sure is big enough.
Petition number 5 this evening is a petition for variance of developmental standards for James P. Heimbuch and Bruce Heimbuch for continued placement of a mobile home. The last variance was granted on 5/19 of 2020 for 2 years renewable, and the property is located at 8170 East Ivy Boulevard, New Carlisle, Hudson Township, zoned R1B.
No sufficient.
All right. State your name and address for the record, please.
James Heimbuch, 8170 East Ivy Boulevard, New Carlisle, Indiana.
James, it feels like you were just here.
I know it.
It does. We just did.
And
I
thank
actually
you.
missed the first appointment. I didn't get it in the mail or something. I don't know what happened.
Well, if you, in 2020, did I tell you it's going to be your responsibility to come back up in 2 years?
Yeah, I called
we're not
Ashley
gonna-
and then she said she'd mail me something. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, we like you guys to remember that you need to do it. It's not going to be our responsibility.
I understand.
So, who's living in the mobile home?
Just me.
Okay.
My granddaughter moved out.
Okay. And if you could refresh my memory, what year is it?
It's a 1972.
Okay.
Wow.
Do you have photos? Thank you.
Yeah. Have you done any maintenance on it in the last couple of years?
Just lawn type stuff, not much. I don't want to invest too much into it. I don't have any real issues with it. Everything seems like it's working fine.
I think
Oh, wow.
Dwayne's point is that, I mean, you're in a community of, you know, quite a few homes, and it's important, especially when you're being granted a variance, to be there in a trailer to maintain the community and keep it up a little bit more. I think that's the point. I think that's why
Exactly.
last time we gave a
2
2 years.
only.
a 2-year
Yeah.
variance,
Fix it up.
hoping that we would see some more upkeep. And I think it's, in general, it is neater than we've seen in the past. It just has some issues with the plant growth on it. I
Oh,
mean,
well, I can cut some of it down. I kind of like it that way, but if you guys would rather,
So it's cleaned up and presentable for the neighborhood.
yeah, I understand what you're saying.
And I think skirting is required by the county. I'm not going to say that's all skirting, but the lattice that's down, just make sure everything
Oh, I understand.
put back
Okay.
up and
Yep,
kind of in a tidier manner.
okay.
I know one of the photos we see is a window air conditioner on, I don't know if that's a porch area. That
My granddaughter brought that home.
I'd like to kind of see that area addressed.
Okay.
And make sure we get it
I
cleaned
usually
up.
cover
and-
it all up with the tarp, but then I like to have it air out.
Yeah.
So it doesn't all rust up and stuff, so. But yeah, I can rearrange
do
it.
some
and-
cleaning up on there and,
Okay.
okay. Do we have any remonstrators this evening for petition number 5? Anybody for or against petition number 5? Okay, hearing and seeing none, I will entertain a motion.
Melissa, I'd like to provide motion for the petition of variance of developmental standards for James P. and Bruce Heimbuch, be granted for 1 year renewable.
Second.
Okay, petition for 1 year renewable. Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. All right, we're gonna see you in 1 year. Make sure you get some stuff cleaned up for us. Thank you. Okay, petition number 6 this evening is a petition for variance of developmental standards for Jacqueline Ferris for construction of an attached garage 2 feet from side property line instead of the minimum 10. Property is located at 7104 North Chicago Road, New Carlisle, Hudson Township, zoned R1B.
Notice adequate.
Okay. Would you state your name and address for the record, please?
Yes, it's Jacelyn Ferris, 7104 North Chicago Road in New Carlisle, Indiana.
Jason, what's the setback of the existing structure?
So currently, and my dad is actually going to be general contracting for us, so he can probably help out with specifics.
And if you want to come up and state your name and address for the record, we'll just knock that all out. And
sure. My name is Roger Brown. Address is 17044 Stonegate Court, Granger, Indiana.
Okay.
And the existing home without a garage is currently 13 feet from the property line to the home. And I think we've provided pictures, and I know we've done survey, etc. The home that is immediately to the right, and we have all the signatures already in place from all the neighbors.
They're excited we're going to fix it up.
Yeah. And that home is currently literally, as you know, lake properties sometimes over the past have been unique. That home is currently, it's on the property line. And so the garage that we're suggesting we'd like to build doesn't actually come up next to that home. The space is literally offset so that the garage is, if you would, is in front of that house.
Okay.
And we're just trying to, there's an existing driveway and actually an existing foundation wall.
Okay.
We realize that may need to be secured or whatever to make it more buildable, but that's already in place, and that's currently just 2 feet from the property line, and we're hoping that we might be able to use that driveway to build a garage.
So just on top of that concrete slab.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's there for the driveway. Okay.
Yes.
Fortunately, the neighbors are really excited about
They are excited.
the opportunity though. And it's going to be, it'll look like a brand new home, which is going to improve the neighborhood as well. If you have any questions, we're happy to answer.
Nope. When do you plan on starting it?
Well, we can't pull permits, I think, until after this meeting,
Okay.
so I guess it just depends on contractor availability.
I'm actually a licensed builder in the state of Michigan, and obviously to be a licensed builder in the state of Indiana, I don't know if you've heard of Legacy Homes. That's my son. He actually took over my small company and made
Blew it
Legacy
up.
Homes. Blew it up. And so I have a lot of experience, and we have a lot of contacts, is the point, to do this right and build a beautiful home.
Okay, I'm going to say my only concern here is from a safety perspective, trying to get emergency vehicles to the backyard.
I did actually have a conversation with Bill Gum, former fire chief of New Carlisle, and took him out to the property and explained what we're doing. He's like, oh, this is no problem. We'll definitely be able to get if there's a fire. It's not a non-issue. So I did take that initiative.
Good, thank you.
I think the two structures, the existing home that's there on the property line and what we're proposing as a garage, the fact that they are offset provides the access that I think
Yeah.
they need.
Do we have any remonstrators tonight for petition number 6? Anybody in favor or against petition number 6?
Motion.
Okay, hearing and seeing none, I will entertain a motion.
Okay, I'll go ahead and make the motion that the petition for the Ferrises be granted for the construction of their garage with its setbacks as noted.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
A second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign.
Aye.
Good luck. Your
Thank you so
petition
much.
is granted. Petition number 7 this evening is a petition for variance of developmental standards for Shan Herzog and Ashley Quillen for construction of a pole barn with living quarters to live in during construction of the primary home and to keep as guest quarters after the primary home is built. The property is located at 4412 West, 800 South Union Mills, Noble Township, zoned R1B on 8.244 acres.
Notice adequate.
If you would state your names and address for the record, please.
Ashley Quillen, 4412 West 800 South Union Mills, Indiana.
And Sean Herzog, 4412 West 800 South Union Mills, Indiana.
All right. Let's see here. How soon will you be starting construction of the pole barn should you get approved?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Okay.
Good luck. If the permits are pulled, we're
Okay.
gonna get right on it. So.
I know.
Do you happen to have anything that shows the what the proposed structures are going to look like? The exterior?
Not exterior. We have the floor plan, which I think you have.
Okay. I always like this property.
It's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the same one?
The outside of that.
There's no outside.
How long do you anticipate before you start construction on the residence?
Probably in the spring.
Okay.
What size is the pole barn you're gonna build?
Overall, I think it was approximately 50 by, what was it, 80? 60? 50 by 60? Sorry, I can't read it.
That's all right. I'm kind of a big picture. Well, I can't add all this up and
64 by 55.
that's all right.
64 by 55.
Mm-hmm. Hold on, they're going to add that all up.
Looks about right.
Close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
64.
I love this piece of property. It's a beautiful location. So, do we have any remonstrators this evening for this petition? Anybody for or against? What about questions?
Oh, I think it looks good.
Yeah.
As long as it's big enough.
I knew that. Is the pole barn going to be big enough? So, understand that if we approve the petition tonight and the pole barn is built, you've lived in it, and now there's residence space available, that is not to be rented at any time. Okay. All right. All right. If there are no other questions, I will entertain a motion.
Melissa, I'll give the motion for the petition of variance of developmental standards for Sean Herzog and Ashley Quillen be approved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Good luck.
Thank you.
The building department will expect you bright and early in the morning.
Yeah. All right.
All right, petition number 8 this evening is a petition for variance of use for Charles Kataska for a small engine repair business for the property located at 2341 North, 450 East, Rolling Prairie, Kankakee Township, zoned ag on 2 acres.
Notice adequate.
Great. Would you state your name and address for the record, please?
Charles Kataska, 2341 North 450 East, Rolling Prairie, Indiana.
Charles, let's talk about this small engine repair. Will people, you say they're going to just drop off. So how many people do you expect there, like in a week?
Usually at most maybe 1 or 2 a day.
Okay.
Dropping off.
You say 1 or 2 a day?
Yeah.
I wanted to see. I guess the only thing we have the hours of operation and days of the week. So from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m., 7 days a week. I guess I'm just kind of concerned. My neighbor works on stuff all the time. 10 o'clock seems kind of late for that.
I stay open for people that work late.
Okay. So would it be fair to say that you're actually going to be out there physically working until 10 o'clock?
Oh, I work in my garage all night sometimes.
The other thing I'm kind of concerned about is stuff on the property. I think there's a lot of stuff on your property, and having a small engine repair business, I think, is just going to add to the amount of things that are there. And from the photos that I've looked at, it kind of looks like the beginning of a junkyard.
Too much. With a lot of vehicles.
A lot of vehicles out there.
I own them all.
Are they all registered?
No, I don't have them all registered. I can't register more than 12 vehicles in a year.
Okay. So that's my concern, is adding more to what I think might already be a little bit of a, I don't know, an eyesore, is my opinion. So that's going to be my main concern. And 10 o'clock, like I said, noise around to the neighbors. I understand you might be doing it currently, but putting it in a business is going to, definitely increase traffic to your property. And I think that could be a concern for neighbors that just maybe knew that you were tinkering on things before, but now that you're running a business, it is more visible. So those are my concerns.
Got a question. What time is the noise ordinance at?
It has nothing to do with the noise ordinance.
And to be honest with you, I don't make that much noise working on them. My garage is closed, and most you're gonna hear it is in my house. You ain't even gonna hear it there.
Okay. Do we have any remonstrators this evening for this petition? Anybody for or against? If you'd like to have a seat, we'll hear from the remonstrators. So I'm going to ask you guys to maybe have like a general spokesperson. I don't want to have everybody come up and say the same thing over and over and over again. So if you do come up, I'd like to hear something new. If you would state your name and address for the record.
Okay. I'm Jasmine Buss, and I live at 2303 North, 450 East, Rolling Prairie, Indiana. And I've got an overview side of the properties, if you'd like to see it.
You got pictures.
Yeah, we have photos.
Okay. This was taken before they moved in, but it shows a separation of properties.
Okay.
And then you might be interested in those.
Okay. Is this from Facebook?
Yes.
I'm not interested. Thank you.
Not all of these are from Facebook, just.
Adam, I need you to speak into a microphone, please.
I'm talking about this one, and you'll know what I'm talking about. Okay. When Mr. Kataska moved in, and that was about 2.5 years ago, he moved into a quiet residential neighborhood of really beautiful homes. Everybody keeps up our property. He is stating that he wants to have this small engine repair business, but he's also advertised for salvage. And he's got boats and cars, and he told us when he moved in that he was just going to ship out parts throughout the United States. But it's actually turned into a junkyard. And the noise level is off the roof. And he does leave his garage door open. It's just a single car garage. He leaves that door open. Other people can contest to that. And when he first applied for this license, he caught me at the fence line and he threatened me. He said that if we fight this thing, that it's only going to get worse than what it is right now. And that he said it's about to get real soon. So we really don't want this business in our neighborhood. And I don't really have anything against him, but I just don't want this business.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you very much. Do we have additional remonstrators with something new?
I just want to clarify something. Brad Childers.
If I could, I'm gonna need you to talk into that microphone for the record, please.
Okay, my name is Brad Childers. I live at 2333 North, 450 East, Rolling Prairie.
Okay.
I think the main thing here is that he's applying for a variance to operate a small engine repair service. And he must consider cars and trucks are small engines along with snowmobiles, because that's what he works on. And that's what he's going to continue to work on. And the real problem that we're having with him is not only the fact that the police have been called several times, but he has 400-foot burnouts in front of our houses where they brake lock the truck or the car, and they spin the tires and they burn out for 400 feet in front of our houses. The noise from gunfire, the noise from cars, the noise from quads, the noise from snowmobiles and truck engines, all operating at full throttle across that property down a dirt path, which is now basically a racetrack. And that racetrack stirs up so much dust that it comes over the trees and ruins the neighbor's property or anything that they can do on their properties. They can't enjoy their backyards. The noise is clear down at my house, which is 3 doors down. It's only 400 feet, but it's 3 doors down. The noise is so loud from the gunfire and from the cars and the vehicles that we can't enjoy our property. So, in conclusion, I guess, and I don't know if I can even ask this, but I'm going to try. You can tell me. The bottom line is, if you decide not to allow this variance, I would ask that you understand the probability is he will continue to operate. That's what he does. So I would ask that you have a motion or whatever to make him remove all small engines, and that includes cars and trucks. And in that case, quads, boats, and campers from this property. That way he cannot go back to operating his small engine business, which is really the sled shed and salvage business that is advertised on both Google and Facebook, complete with operating hours. That's the business he's now here asking to get variance for to live in our neighborhoods. We don't want him in our neighborhoods. And I appreciate your time and thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. If you'd like to come forward.
What do you think? It's a privilege to get variance, and I don't think he's earned it.
My name's Wayne Kirkham, 2451 North, 450 East. I'm the property directly north of Mr. Kataska's. I know I probably can't play this here, but my wife and I were sitting on our front porch about 2 weeks ago, and I think at the time he had got into it with jazz, so he was in a rant. And we could hear him sitting on our front porch trying to enjoy our coffee. So I went to the back porch and I started videoing him. And this is a terrible video. I mean, I don't know if anybody there's a lot of vulgarity in it. He's threatened to burn us down.
Do I want to hear it?
Oh, it's on here.
Okay, I'm going to ask you to address the board and not the people at the podium. And I don't think that we need to hear the video at this time. I don't.
Well, if anyone wants to hear it afterwards, I'll go ahead and play it.
Thank you so much. Any other remonstrators? Like to come up?
You I did.
Good evening. My name is Patty Nosak. I live at 2555 North, 450 East. And I would just like to paint a picture of our neighborhood for you. I've watched these meetings for several years, and I have seen at least 100 times persons come in front of you, just like tonight, where someone from somewhere purchases a couple of acres in the country, and away we go. a deluge of practices generally not allowed via the LaPorte County zoning ordinance. True, the picture of our neighborhood is different than in town. The honey wagons run up and down the road nonstop at certain times of the year. The farmers get their equipment out before daylight, come back after dark, several times a year, planting. Down the road from us is, if it's not the largest CAFO in the county, it is one of them at 200 North. So we have the milk trucks up and down. And then, of course, after the honey wagons, they spread their manure. We have the manure smell in our neighborhood. Nobody's complaining here about that. We live in ag. We respect the farmland. We don't have any problems like that. A small engine repair business in our neighborhood, we say no. Snowmobile salvage business in our neighborhood, we say no. Please don't allow an advertised salvage business to do business in our neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Charles, if you'd like to come back up for me. So in respect to the salvage, is there any truth to the equipment and vehicles, things that are out there are there for salvage, and that is an actual business that you're operating already?
Every vehicle that is on my property runs and drives.
So the question I just asked you is there any truth to you're using salvage parts and operating a business as salvage on the property right now?
I sell used snowmobile parts.
Are you advertising that business?
Yeah, I'm on Google. And the boats and all that stuff that are all there, everything's legal. Everything's got a plate on it, except for a few of my vehicles, which I can't, like I said, plate anything more than 12 vehicles a year.
Okay.
And four-wheelers.
Questions for the board?
Who lives here?
I live there.
And who's in the campers?
I have a couple of my friends that come and stay on the weekends.
Is there a water
running to it. No.
How is sewage?
Sewage, there ain't no sewage.
So where does human waste go?
They come up to my house and use the bathroom.
And the animals, do you still have all the animals here?
Nope, I got 2 dogs.
So the chickens, roosters, ducks, guineas, turkeys,
They're all gone.
geese.
They're gone.
Do you think it looks nice? Do you think it looks well kept?
The front yard, it looks good. It's just a backyard. I mean, it's not street view, which I understand it should be looking a little better, but I've been slowly progressing. You can ask them. I've slowly been cleaning up. It's just hard doing everything all at once.
Because it looks like you put a lot of vehicles there in a very short period of time.
I've had them vehicles there for about 2 years now.
But when you look at pictures from before and after, it's significantly different.
Just vehicles in different areas. I've bought a lot of vehicles. I am not going to sit here and say I didn't. I own a lot of stuff. I'm a man of many things. I like my vehicles. I like things with toys. I like things with motors. I can't help myself. And there is a couple vehicles there that are there right now that aren't going to be there. Like I explained to her, they're getting ready to go. I'm trying to get my truck fixed. I got a bad axle on it. I got to fix that before I can even tow anything. So
It looks bad.
it does,
It's really
but
bad.
I've slowly been. It looked a lot worse. Trust me.
Well, that's encouraging.
I had probably 20 sleds in the front yard that aren't there no more.
I agree.
So I've been slowly cleaning it up. It's hard doing it all at once, and when you're only one person, it's been hard to do it.
If there are no further, do you have questions?
How long have you lived on the property, known the property?
About 2 years, 2.5.
Do you have that picture of the property previous to?
And keep in mind that
is this a fair portrayal of what the property looked like before you bought it?
And I'm going to need you to get to a microphone to respond.
That might have been. I was all grown before. Grass was 4 foot tall. And I got kids that ride four-wheelers around my yard, so I can understand there being dust flying.
Do you have any more questions, Glenn?
No.
Okay, if there are no other questions. I'm going to entertain a motion.
I'd like to make a motion that the petition for a variance of use for Charles Kotasa for small engine repair business be denied.
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second to deny the business. All those in,
I'd like to also amend it if I could. I think we have some major cleanup here. All the stuff that doesn't work and doesn't run as they requested, have all of it removed.
No, I'm not getting rid of all my stuff. I'm sorry.
Clean the yards up and make it look presentable again.
I'm not getting rid of my stuff. You guys can do whatever you gotta do, file whatever tickets you gotta do. I'm not getting rid of my stuff.
okay, so I have a motion and a second to deny the petition for variance of use. Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Okay, so your business has been denied.
I don't care. I'll still be running it.
Okay. Petition number 9 this evening is a petition for variance of developmental standards for Robert E. and Ruth Nehemiah to store an RV on a vacant lot across from the residence. Property is located east of 250 Bluffside Road, LaPorte, Center Township, zoned R1B.
Notice is adequate.
Thank you.
What? Do you need these?
No? She's talking to you.
Okay. My name is Ruth Nehemiah. I live at 250 West Johnson Road. And
let's give these guys a moment to get out so I can hear you better, if you don't mind.
I got it cleaned up. No, there's no way. I know, we've seen it. We have all this should be moved.
All right, that sounds a little bit better. How about we
Okay.
start over? Your name again?
my name is Ruth Nehemiah. I live at 250 West Johnson Road. And I own a vacant lot behind my residence that goes out to the lake. Excuse me. I have an RV and then I don't have any room on my residential lot to park it. And so I have been parking it on the vacant lot that I own. And there were arborvitae trees there and it was up against the trees. And I've been parking it there 3 or 4 years anyway. And I found out I need a variance to do that. So I would very much appreciate it if I could get a variance to park my RV there.
And Ruth, your house is across the street.
Across from Bluffside. I'm on Johnson and then Bluffside runs between the properties.
So that's probably the issue since you're not able to store it behind your house.
Right. My residential lot is completely, excuse me, fenced. And there's really no room. It's not a level lot. I have different levels on it.
How often do you use the RV?
Not often. We are rehabbing it, redoing it a bit.
So while you're storing it there, that's all that's happening is just storage? No one's coming out and staying in it?
Oh, no one stays in it. Now I have a grandson that lives with me. He goes in and I don't know what, he listens to music inside and, and tries to fix it up a bit.
Do we have any remonstrators for petition number 9? Anybody for or against petition number 9? What about questions from the board?
Well, I mean, we had a printed remonstrance of this
Oh, I have it
from
right here.
several neighbors that was
Thank you
sent
for-
to us.
Okay. Thank you for reminding me, Glenn. It was sitting there staring me in the face.
It's certainly on file, and I mean,
I could read it in the office, but
Yeah. Do you want to kind of give us synopsis? What's the general?
well, I mean, there's some question as to whether the trailer is being used there from time to time because of of an extension cord that's been run across the road?
Well, that I've taken care of. I had a switch at the house that turns off the electricity from where I plug it in, and I can understand when I saw what they said that they were worried about children, you know, and so I just
Definitely a
don't do
safety
that.
issue.
Right. Yeah. So that's taken care of.
I have a concern that if everybody wanted to put a trailer on a vacant lot that they own, we wouldn't need trailer parks anymore then.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
And there was some question, and I'll direct this question to Doug, our attorney, that RV trailers are not actually allowed on lake frontage property.
That's correct. That's correct.
Well, I mean, there's not much question here. I mean, although it's your backyard, it's your neighbors
Yeah.
behind you, you know, pristine homes, and
Yeah.
and our code specifically says that we're not supposed to allow an RV like this on a lakefront lot, and that's what it is. Even though it's your backyard,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
it's convenient for you to store it there. I'm afraid it's just not
Okay.
really
This
legal
wasn't
to do
a
so.
problem for 3 or 4 years, and I didn't understand. My neighbors, the Brumleys, are building a house, and they asked if they could take 2 trees down that were separating our properties. And I said, sure, you know, because they were going to put in a seawall. Well, whoever took out the trees all the way down the line. I'm sorry. And so it was more visible then for the other neighbors. And those are the seawall's about in. And the Brumleys have said that they are going to put in arborvitaes where they were. Yeah.
Well.
Unfortunately, that cat's already out of the bag.
Yeah.
Mhm. We can't stuff it back in there, so.
Okay. All right. Okay.
All right, so if there are no other questions, I'll entertain a motion.
I think I'll give you a motion. The petition for the variance for the developmental standard for Ruth Niedermeyer to store the RV in a vacant lot be denied, especially since it's a violation of our internal code.
One second.
I have a motion and a second to deny. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign.
Right.
All right. Good luck. Okay, petition number 10 this evening is a petition for variance of developmental standards for Elaine Wallace for continuation of keeping a mobile home to live in. The property is located at 8451 North, 500 West, Michigan City, Springfield Township, zoned R1B on 9.83 acres.
Notice adequate.
Thank you. State your name and address for the record, please.
Elaine Wallace, 8451 North, 500 West, Michigan City.
Elaine, how long have you been in the mobile home at this location?
I think around 15 years now.
Nice is one of the neighbors.
Mm-hmm.
When was the last time you had a variance for the mobile home?
3 years ago.
Okay. And who lives in the mobile home? Just you?
Pardon me?
Who lives in the mobile home?
My daughter, she lives with me, basically takes care of things and me.
Okay. All right. Are there any remonstrators this evening for petition number 10? Anybody for or against petition number 10? For. Sure. Give us just a moment for Elaine to have a seat. If you'd come up and state your name and address for the record.
Good evening. My name is Arthur Prizak. I am a next door neighbor. I am at 8389. It's an adjoining property. And there are 2 reasons that I am here. I'm sure you have your pictures from the inspectors, but this property was always been immaculately kept. I'm sure you're aware of that. And with that being said, my mother is about the same age, and I find it a little strange that understanding that an ordinance is an ordinance, but couldn't there be a permanent waiver? And there's another thing that, you know, I would like to address, the difference between the property at 8451 and the property at 8401, which is closer to my home, if I may approach. And
Please, I think I'm familiar with it, but
Good. Right here.
yeah. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we've seen this one.
so I do have a self-serving purpose for being here, because I think that perhaps now, listening to the meetings and the concerns that you had, perhaps there should be an ordinance against keeping garbage and junk cars in front of your house.
There actually is an ordinance in place.
My neighbor at 8405 just sold the house. He put it on the market last spring. He was asking $250,000, which might have been a little high, but the house is a nice house. It's got an in-ground pool. In the end, he sold it for $195 this summer, and one of the reasons was, well, what you see on those photographs. I'm not selling, so I'm not concerned, but maybe in the future we could, you know, come up with something that would.
This board is not an enforcement entity. They can't do anything about it. Okay.
I understand that, sir, and I respect that. I'm just, you know, voicing my. Not even.
I get it, but we have other petitions, and I'm trying to keep us in line with what we have to do tonight. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Arthur, I do appreciate your comments, though. It's very nice to hear someone in favor of a petition.
If you could
Thank you.
extend that, you know, perhaps, you know, as much as you can. They'll be
Thank you.
appreciated. Thank you.
All right, Elaine, I have to agree with him. It's very well maintained and taken care of. It's very beautiful.
Thank you.
All right. So we've heard from remonstrators. Are there any questions from the board? And if
The
not,
board themselves, right? In past years, have we extended the renewal date much past 3 years?
Sometimes more.
occasionally,
On occasion.
I wouldn't say it's the rule.
Right.
Yeah, like I said, I don't think that's the rule.
Right.
I mean, part of the problem is that, you know, we want this to be your permanent home, but we don't want this to be a permanent thing in that community, having a trailer.
Exactly.
And that's why we have
Term limits.
term limit, and we want to see these renewed. Things change when it's, you know, I mean, we have to consider it more temporary housing than we do, you know, a fixed foundation home.
Agreed.
So, but that's for that reason. I think we need to do it.
But the variances are not transferable upon sale.
Correct.
Correct.
That's a whole nother story.
Okay.
So if there are no other questions.
Well, I'd like to make a comment.
Sure.
I mean, at this age, there's no way I could afford to put a permanent home there.
We definitely understand
For
that.
one thing. For another thing, it's being kept up a lot better than some of the other properties are right next door or just down the road.
No argument
Notice
from
that
us.
revisited.
And I don't know what I'd do if it's denied to have and I'm paying taxes on
Elaine, I think
the same as a home.
I think we're just trying to figure out how long we're going to give you.
Yeah.
I
Okay,
think that's what we're kind of looking at each other for.
okay.
Take a deep breath. We're good.
On that, I'll give it a shot. I'd like to provide a motion, petition for variance of developmental standards for Lane Wallace, be granted for 5 years renewable.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the petition for 5 years renewable. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. All right, good luck.
Okay.
So in 5 years, it's going to be your responsibility to come back to the board, though.
Well,
Ashley might be able to send you a notice, but
hopefully
you'll be back.
I won't have to use any more than a cane, but I'll see what happens in 5 years.
Very
Thank
good.
you.
Good luck. And petition number 11 this evening is a petition for variance of developmental standards for Brett R. Carney, owner, and Eric Stalk, buyer, for construction of a home with 155 feet of road frontage instead of the 200 minimum required. The property is located at 4101 North, 525 West, LaPorte, Center Township, zoned R1B on 8.91 acres.
You have proof of notice of adjoining property owners?
Ashley has it and I have a copy. Would you like the copy as well?
Where's that flag? This way. Oh, right. I think we have. I wonder if it's been redrawn. If it has, that's good.
It's a weird shaped lot.
I think there's more here. This is 525.
Notice adequate.
Thank you. If you would state your name and address for the record.
Good evening. My name is Eric Stalk, 5125 West Concord Drive in LaPorte.
All right. Could you tell us about this property and what your plans are?
Yeah, I live in the Woods of Concord subdivision, as I just stated, and this is a property that comes off of the cul-de-sac in my subdivision, and it also has frontage, I believe 165 feet off of 525, and I moved into my residence in 2004, and through my neighbor, Mr. Kai Nyby, he sold it to Brett Carney. I've been back in that area since about 2004 with my dogs, hiking with permission from those two landowners, and so I'm very familiar with the area. And when it came for sale, I was interested, and we have a contingent agreement based on this variance, and I would plan to build a residence back there.
Would your proposed entrance be off of 525 for your residence?
Initially, that would be the longer drive. I mean, I've done some figures on it, and it would be over 1,000 feet, where if I came in off of Meritage, it would be approximately 340 feet.
Have you done any research with either the county or driveway permits and taken a look at? My concern is that Meritage is not a county-owned road.
Right. I did do a little research, and just 6 months ago, coming in off Meritage, you guys granted
That's weird.
You granted the landowner to the east access through there, and he's aware, based on his purchase, that if he was to complete that purchase, it would be with the easement
right
through his property.
Okay. Yeah, I know that we had this issue before, so I wanted to make sure that we understood that was not the preferred, and I hate the word easement. Oh, it just makes everything messy, but understandable. If you're going to put your proposed house on the east side of that property, obviously that makes sense for a drive.
That's
shorter. Much shorter.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's much shorter, and the easement does allow for access and utilities and drainage. And that's a nice building site right in there. There's a lot of area for flat ground, and
yeah.
Tree removal.
Do we have any remonstrators this evening, either for or against this petition? Anybody for or against it?
No.
No? Okay.
His property will be joining my property.
Do you want to speak on the
Objections of him building there.
Do you want to speak on the record, sir? Do you want to speak on the record?
No.
If you want to do that, I'm going to have to ask you to come up and talk into the microphone. Please. Thank you. Would you give us your name and address?
My name is James Staples, and I live at 525 West, 4101. And this property, my property was cut off of this property that he's talking about.
Okay.
And I built there in 1968. I have took care of this property that he's talking about, mowed, and also had chemicals put on that property. It's a beautiful piece of property, and he has come to me and talked to me about it. Me, my wife, my two next door neighbors, and another neighbor, we have no objections of him building there. He seems like an awful nice guy. I haven't met his wife, but he is super nice guy, and I would love to have him as a neighbor.
All right, wonderful. Thank you.
Okay.
Any other questions from the board? If there are no questions, I'll entertain a
I
motion.
do have a question.
Okay.
I mean, do you have any thought on dividing this parcel anytime in the future?
That's not my intent whatsoever.
Okay. Okay.
I see what you're saying, yeah.
That's
Okay, if there are no questions, then I will entertain a motion.
Melissa, I'd like to give the motion for the petition of variance of developmental standards to Brett R. Carney, owner, and Eric Stulk, buyer, be granted.
Second.
A motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Good luck.
Thank you, and for the record, thank you very much for the kind words.
And we don't get enough of that on this board.
We get 2 in a row.
All right, let's go back to petition number 2 this evening for a variance of developmental standards for, no, is that the wrong one?
No.
Yeah.
That's
Keith-
it too.
Yeah, Keith Blower for temporary placement of an RV to live in during construction of the primary house. Keith, are you here with us?
Nope, I see it.
I need a motion to.
I'll make a motion, we table it till next month, please.
I have a motion. Do I have a
Second.
second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right. We're gonna table petition number 2. Is there any further business in front of the board? Mike?
No further business.
Attorney BG? Okay. Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Good night.